Hello everyone and welcome to some AOR highlights for the GT3 League on Project Cars 2 for Tier 3. It's Season 8 of this stuff, and obviously on Project Cars 2 instead of Project Cars 1. And I decided I want to be part of it, and me and my teammate Evia Huracan are in the Audi R8 LMS for this season. And this is obviously Imola, the first race of the season out of 6. It's sort of more like a test season really. I'm just trying to see if the game is able to cope with the demands of us. So that is the idea. But here we are in qualifying. We're going to treat it like a normal situation anyway. It is a season in the end of the day, and we are all fighting it out for the championships. So here we are in qualifying. This is actually we're going to go on to our fastest lap of the session. And round here, the car was a little bit unstable. The Audi isn't the best. This was actually pre-patch. It was really good. But here, I don't know what happened to it. It kind of got a little bit oversteery. So GT3s weren't the best. As we're losing the car a little bit through the second corner now. We've got a decent run through there. We have done the professional best so far. I think it's a 46-1, something like that. As we now are into the second chicane here. And it's quite difficult, this one. You want to be careful. You don't want to get onto the curb too much. It could spin you out. Heading into this hairpin light corner down to, I think it's first. Oh, no, kicking it in second gear actually. I am commentating over this like 2 weeks afterwards. Actually, I made a mistake on my commentary beforehand. I did release this a week ago. But I made a mistake on the commentary, so how do we re-record? Haha. But that corner there is pretty awesome now, and we're into sort of the fun section, sort of Mickey Mouse here. Double right-hander coming up now, keeping it in fourth gear, tucking it in, and then down to third gear for this set corners, and actually no, second gear instead. Getting a nice exit from there. You don't want to be riding the curbs too much. You can actually lose time by doing that. And now we're into the very tight chicane here. Very hard corner indeed. We're going to down to about second gear and not use first. Second gear is better through here. Not running it too wide. You can get track limits warning for that if you do run it too wide. Even if you don't gain any time. And now we're heading down this kink here before the penultimate corner. Going down to second gear. Hitting the apex nicely, not running it too wide, now keeping it in here, not using hardly the brakes, just a little bit of the brake. As we go to the line now, it's basically a drag race to the line. It's been a pretty good lap actually, I was pretty happy with it. And it's just down this straight now. And Imola, a fun track really. I mean, it's really hard to set up for and drive, but it's actually really enjoyable. And it was great to compete in Libra on here as we do a 45.956. So that was pretty good. That only was able to be second. Sigma did a really good lap in session there with a 144. So he was really rapid in qualifying. But I had a bit of confidence in the race that me and my teammate Evia Huracan, who is actually in P3, qualified P3, we could actually sort of try and get on him in the race. I think we were pretty confident about that. So here we go. We're in the formation lap as we stand here, as we're all sort of forming up for the start of the race. And here I was pretty determined to just try and get a good start to the race. You know, it's first race of the season, no risks. I was in a good position. I felt good points were on the cards here, as we're just trying to line up here, just trying to find my way, because I didn't know where it was going. And he sort of squeezed me to the right hand side a little bit. I was like, well kind of where is he going? But here we go now, just waiting for him to go, and we'll react to him as quick as we can. We are running ABS, a little bit of low ABS, just help this car a little bit. In terms of just getting the car, it is faster with it on, so but a little bit of a low ABS. But here we go, he's gone racing now, and we've got a pretty good start. We're going to follow him through, and here we go. We actually made a mistake. We ran lean for the formation lap, and I forgot to change it up. So I was running lean revs for the first lap of the race. I was like, okay, that's interesting. So I was running lean for this. I didn't realise until lap 2, I think it was. But we're keeping with Sigma at the moment. He's got a really good start to the race. I was trying to make sure that I wasn't gonna over push at this point, because the tyres weren't in the right window at this point, and you could oversteer and go off into the wall. So I was just being careful and just trying to get into that rhythm earlier on. And for me, that's the most important thing. If I get into that rhythm, the pace can come really quickly and can get consistent, and we can put the pressure on in terms of in the guy ahead. So my aim was just trying to get into that rhythm earlier on. I mean, if I was on cold tyres and pushing straight off the bat, we would probably end up in the gravel or something. So I just tried to push on as hard as I could. Bear in mind to think about the long distance. It's 34 laps, it's quite a long race, so it's not like it's nothing to lose. But you see, he's pulling away here, and at the point I was like, I was low on power. I was like, what's happening there then? I was pretty good for the corners, but on the straights, I'm just losing time. That BMW does pull, and it is so quick in a straight line. I had nothing on the straights, but I knew that I had some really bad issue in terms of straight line speed. But through chicane here, we're pretty much just on him. As he gets a really good run though from that, so he gets a really good power down, but that's because we're running lean. as we're now coming to complete the first lap of this. And it was a pretty good first lap from us. We're just keeping it all together, and the tyres are pretty much in the window now. We're going to start thinking about pushing. He's gone a little bit wide there, so you see he's making slightly little mistakes where I felt that, you know, it was opening up a little bit of a chance for us to try and, you know, put that pressure on him. But here you can see me changing the fuel mix. We're actually running the lean one up to rich now. My teammate actually told me that, and I was like, okay, fair enough. We need to change it up then. Change it up to rich now. I'm going to use normal in the corners, so it doesn't stress the engine too much, because there is actually engine wear. So I didn't want to stress the engine too much, so I was like, you know, just put that to normal in the corners and keep with him. And also, if you run rich, you can get a little bit more oversteer, and the car does suffer from that a little bit, where it just oversteers a lot. So I was being a little bit more cautious of that as well, thinking about the gearbox, thinking about everything else, as we actually have got one damage on the engine already. So that shows how if you shift down too quickly, if you if you run it in rich too much, you are going to have engine damage. So I was being careful with that. Careful not to lock up as well, because if you lock up, you do tend to sort of shift down quicker to try to get the car slowed down. So for me, it was important not to do that too often and just let the car shift down normally and nicely. As we're now caught up to Route Sigma here, so it's been a really strong second lap to try and pile the pressure on him. As we're getting a little bit of understeer through there, and I was trying to push my tackle on here, and we're now into double right-hander once again. And we close it up big time through here. He doesn't have the grip that we have, but on the straights, he's absolutely just incredible. Just gets away and can't really have much of an answer for him. We're now into chicane now. This car is better on the brakes, better in the corners, but he's OP in a straight line. So you get a nice run once again, like the first lap, but not keeping it too wide either. You want to be careful in the limits of the circuit, to be fair. We are revving the engine out quite a lot. I have learnt recently that it's probably not the best to do that. You probably want to be revving out about 7,000 RPM to give you a bit more front end speed. And now once again he understeers once again onto the curb. So there, I thought definitely if there's a part of the track to really close up on him, it's there, because he's made 2 mistakes in the past 2 laps at that same corner. I was like, you know, if I can keep the pressure on him in that last sector, he could make a mistake there at least. But once again, on the straight, just nothing to answer for. As we're trying to close the gap, but it's staying pretty much exactly the same. As we do our fast lap of the race so far, as we hit to turn 1 once again, we brake really late there, and we catch up big time in the braking zone. As we flick it through the chicane once again. And that section of the circuit is pretty fun, but if you get it wrong, you know, it's really detrimental. As my teammate, if you're Hurricane, is right behind us. So he's really got some really good pace at this point in the race as well. So me and him, he was behind me saying, go get him, Dom, go get him. As I was trying to get past him, and we made sort of an agreement in the race. And at this point, when I was like saying to him, if you're faster than me on the straight, I'll let you go. And that's what I was prepared to do. I was prepared to let him go, because I felt that if I had my opportunity to try and get him, and I couldn't get him, I was going to let Kieran do it. So I decided I was going to swap positions with him, try and let him have a go at him, and then if he couldn't do it, then he would swap again. That was the idea, because obviously we were pulling away from the guys from P4 or lower. So a bit of tactics we were going to play out here, as we're now once again into this section of the circuit, going a little bit wide there. As we're now entering in the chicane once again, but we're right with him this time, and he's still making a mistake. Done the second gear once again, hitting the apex nicely, and we've got a little bit wide that time actually. We made a little bit of a mistake there, so this is sort of getting the better of us. But once again, he's dragging away from us as Kieran's right behind our rear tyre. I think he was actually running rich mix completely. So I was running normal in the corners, but I was running rich in the straights, but he was running it everywhere. So he was better in most aspects of the circuit, because he had more power to play with than me. As out of this corner here, we're going to boost it up to rich once again to try and keep with him. And actually Kieran's gone, so he span off and made a mistake. And that wasn't from us, he just made a mistake in the zone. And he's going to come through the field once again. And his race was really just a comeback race. He was making mistakes. And he did a good job to keep in the race and get some slow points. But once again, through this chicane, a little bit of a twitch there. Just the grip wasn't there. At this point in the race, the car's still pretty heavy with fuel. The tyres are completely heated up, so the grip was always changing all the time. So obviously, it's really cool about these cars. As we're now into the second chicane once again, and really, we just close up big time in the corners. We're just really quick, but he has it everywhere else. I think fast, the quicker speed corners as well. I think he's better through the fast speed corners, but in the low speed, we've got the grip. And this circuit has a lot more of just more low speed corners, medium low speed, which is where the Audi comes into play. But in the high speed, that BMW is really good. It's awesome. But once again, we're just keeping with him. At this point, all I could do was keep with him. I learned from the Toro race that we had for the Genettas that if you just pile the pressure on somebody for long enough, they will make a mistake, and that's what I aim to do here. I just thought like that, and just thought, we'll just do the same thing and just see if he can make a mistake. And once again, we're right on his rear, on his tail into the chicane, and he's coping with the pressure well a bit, but we got a little bit deep in that chicane there, and that affects our exit. So yeah, just getting a little bit hastily here, and I'll just try to settle it all down. I didn't want to crash with him either. That was my other option. I was like, I'm not gonna cause an incident. It's not worth it at this point. And we still got 29 laps to go in this race. As the one American is behind us in P3 right now, and once again he runs really wide off that penultimate corner. So again, just illustrating that he is struggling in that part of the track, and I knew that if I put the pressure on him there, he could make a major mistake. That's what I was trying to do here. A bit in a 16 move time. We're closing up a little bit, but he's still much better in the front line, no matter what I do. Normally, if you run rich mix, you will close up even bigger than you would. And look at that brake. Look at on the braking how much I can actually gain on the brakes. But he gets away from us on the exit, so he was pretty strong through there. But we're still continuing to put the pressure on him for this P1, and that's what I was trying to do. As we're entering the second chicane once again, and attacking as hard as we dare, and we've got a really strong run through there, right on him. We're having a little look into, we might have a little look, no we don't have a look into this hairpin, it's a bit risky, too far back. And we get a nice strong exit, but I found with that corner I was always getting understeer through there. The car was a little bit unsettled, where based on turning, the car was sort of bobble over. I think there's a little bit of a bump there, and the car was getting a little bit unsettled there, so that was a problem. But look at that, we've got a nice line through there, better than him. And yeah, he's feeling the pressure now. We're much more closer with him. We've been much more consistent in this race so far, and we've really closed the gap. As I look how much we gained through here, just trying to make sure, and just trying to find a way past him now. I was like, you know what, now I need to get past him, because I knew the One American was behind us. I felt that at this point I had more pace. But it is tricky to get past people on this using these cars. There's a difference between the Audi and the BMW and all cars. They're not all equal. Some have better front speed, some have better cornering speed. All these little factors affect. And that's the thing. As we're now entering in once again towards the end of this lap, as I was pushing on, and he's feeling the pressure at this point, and he's actually made a little bit of a mistake. He's actually lost the rear end. He's gone. He's actually span, and he's gone from this race, and he's actually cracked under the pressure. And that is what we aim to do. We put him under pressure there, and for those 6 laps, we really did put him under pressure. And he made a mistake at the same corner, and there you go. He's made a mistake now, and we're in the lead of this race, and we're gonna try and control it. And that was really the race here. To cut on later on into the race, lap 27. At this point, we've legit just blown the field away. As Kieran was making a mistake, our teammate was making mistakes. He was coming through the field as well, so I was trying to keep him confident. And right now, I was doing a whole I didn't tell you this. I did a whole distance in softs. I did a 48.7 there. And I didn't know the strategy for this race, because actually I had Toro the night before, so I didn't do not much practice for this race. I put probably like an hour and a half. So an hour and a half of practice, and I didn't know the strategy, so I went on a soft tyre, because it felt the best. The hard tyre didn't feel very good, so I risked it, and that's what I did. And it kind of, it worked out in the end, because I was able to save the car, save the tyres, save the engine, everything like that, and I was able to get the tyres to the end, but it was pretty nerve-wracking to keep it on the track. But at this point in the race, I got a little bit bored. I was trying to go for some fast laps here. You get to the point, if you're lonely in the race, you just sort of try to push it a little bit more and try and have a little bit more fun with it. And at this point, the fuel had weared off, so you could actually just push the car a little bit extra. And that's what I was trying to do. And this circuit is really awesome. I really like this circuit a lot. I haven't ever done a league race on this circuit until now, so it's really a real fun experience. And I do like these cars a lot. And I'm looking forward to the future and the rest of the season with these cars. It's going to be fun, but it's just generally just a test season to see how we all get on, how the game works and everything like that. It's just, I think, more of a learning thing as well for AOR and our stuff. So really, it's just really a test, but obviously it does mean a lot to drivers to win races and stuff. And here I was going to win my first race in AOR would be my first AOR win, so that was awesome. But yeah, it just really cool. I really enjoyed it a lot. They were just the glitches that we have in this game. They will get sorted out eventually. We are getting there. Lobby size obviously is a little bit of an issue. We're running 12 because the game isn't perfect yet. But I think we could boost it up to 14. We have run 14 in Tora, so we could. There's no reason why we couldn't run it in AOR. But I think we're just playing a little bit cautious as a test season, as again, I mean, the season ends in December, and we obviously have the Christmas break, so there's a lot of time for SMS to actually update the game. And obviously, Slightly Mad Studios obviously back AOR, because AOR is the official GT3 championship for sim racing. So for Project Cars on the Project Cars side, so we have that as well. If you do a fast lap of the race there, 47, and this is the last lap of the race here. But again, it's just a development of the game as it goes on, and it will always get better. And the connection of the game has got better since launch. But I expect big changes. I think we'll have big changes by sort of New Year in 2018, where the game will be much better, and I'll have a wheel by then, and hopefully we can go racing on the wheel. Whether that be in AOR, whether that be in Toro or something like that, I'm not too sure. But it's very early on. But look at that, personal best first sector there, as I continue to push on and have a bit more fun in this race, a bit entering in the last time through these corners now, taking an early apex, a little bit of understeer there, and tyres are sort of struggling at this point. The softs weren't up to their best range, weren't performing at the best point. The right-hander once again, down to second gear, a little bit on the grass there, and I lost a bit of time there. I was like, damn it, that's time lost. I was like, I could have been even better through there. As I just try to attack this last chicane here, we're running it in rich, I think, actually. No, we're down to normal once again. And we're running it in rich in areas we wouldn't have been doing before. As we put up the rich ones again, as a good run through there. And now we're heading into this last kink before the penultimate corner. We're down on our sector times. Flag qualifying once again. As now into the penultimate corner, now down the second gear. Taking an early apex, not running it too wide, we're a little bit on the curb, but it's not too bad. And then second gear, hitting the apex nicely, a little bit on the grass there, not ideal, but now it's a run to the line, and that's been a pretty good last lap. It's going to be our personal best lap of the race as well, and we're going to take home our first ever AOR win, which has absolutely been a long time coming. Really happy with that, and a first win in GT3 on Project Cars 2, so that's been absolutely awesome. We won, the One American in second, and RC Flyer in third, and our teammate Evie Harkin came in 6th place with the comeback drive. So that's been this race, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like and subscribe for more racing content on the channel, and I'll see you very soon for another video on the channel. Bye, guys.